Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I have a collaboration with Autumn Beckman and Winnie BLV. So I can't remember who came up with this idea, but I thought it was a really good idea. And we are going to be talking about our first 5 Louis Vuitton bags that we ever purchased. And I'm going to be telling you where I got mine, how I felt about them, how long I used them, were they a mistake, was it a hit, things like that. I'm not sure what they're gonna say about their bags, but we are definitely gonna be sharing with you our first 5 Louis Vuitton bags we ever purchased. If you wanna see what we have to say, stick around. Okay guys, you guys, I have had the worst week, a solid week of calamities. I'm not kidding. So I know a lot of times YouTubers come on here and we, you know, put forth our best effort to make everything look wonderful. And you guys, I'm telling you, I'm just going to share with you some of the stuff that happened to us this week before I get into this collaboration. It's been really bad this week. I mean, I know it can always be worse, and that's what I told Keith. We've had a rough week, and I'm not feeling so good today, so I really thought if I came in front of the camera, made myself presentable, minus the hair, that, you know, I would feel better. And it does make me feel better because if I talk to you guys, if I share things with you, I do feel better. So it started out that Keith's bookkeeper, she quit. She gave a 2-week notice, but she quit. And we've had her there for probably 7 or 8 years. So that was a big blow to Keith because now he's gonna have to start with the interviewing process and find someone who is an accountant to work for him. And in the meantime, he's going to be working over because he is an accountant and he'll have to do the work that she did. So he was not really happy about that. And then the other night, Keith was doing a load of laundry and it started to fill up. The washing machine just stopped. It filled halfway up. It stopped and locked and we could not get it open. So he had to take some tools and take the lid off, and then the next day I had to take all those wet soppy clothes and throw them in the bathtub. So then we called the guy to come look at it, which cost us $110 just to look at it, and he said it was going to be $300 to fix it plus another $90 for his next visit. But if that didn't fix it, it would be $300 more plus another $90. We were like, we might as well just get a new washing machine. So the washing machine died, okay? Then the next day, Keith goes to work and his computer died. Then that evening, the cat never came home. Gus, you guys know Gus. We love Gus. We've had Gus about 9 years. We were so worried, and the night before, Keith heard like a dog fighting outside, but you know, you're in that slumber, and he never got up to check. He didn't come back for 2 days. So we thought that Gus had died. So Keith's like, great. My bookkeeper quit, the washing machine died, my computer died, and now the cat's dead. And we were really upset about Gus. I looked everywhere for him, and I'm just, you know, I was glad that I didn't find his little body. But anyway, he did come home and he's fine, but honestly, he is traumatized. I believe that our neighbor's dog got a hold of him, and he is not acting the same. We've had a rough... Oh, and then last night, my laptop died. Yeah, so that's the week we've had. Here's something positive. This is my bag of the week. I have a few errands to run later on. You guys, I'm obsessed. Autumn Beckman spin here. Okay. And my bag of the week. Just because we're a luxury YouTuber doesn't mean we don't have bad days, okay? We're just like you guys. We just happen to do YouTube videos, so yeah. All right, so let's get into the collaboration. Okay, now that I'm finished ranting. All right, so after you watch this video, go over to Autumn Beckman's channel and check her out, and then go over to Winnie and check her out and see what they have to say, and subscribe, you guys. Subscribe to our channels, because when I get to 5,000 subscribers, this is the giveaway. It's just sitting here, just waiting for you guys to subscribe, okay? Once I get to 5,000 subscribers, you guys, I am going to be giving this away. It's the Chanel double mirror, and I have it and I love it. Okay, so let's get into this video. Okay, the first 5 Louis Vuitton bags that I ever bought, and the very first Louis Vuitton bag, actually, I bought in Hawaii. Keith went on business and I went along. I had always loved to have a Louis Vuitton bag, but back then, I didn't know anything about them. I didn't know the names of them. The only one that I knew was the Speedy, because I would see them in airports. And, you know, people in small towns don't carry that many luxury bags. I do see them occasionally. Anyway, Keith, out of the blue, he's like, I'm taking you to Louis Vuitton. And if you ever watched my very first video I ever put out, it's all about this story. So I was so embarrassed. I was so intimidated. It was the first time I had ever been to a Louis Vuitton store. I had no idea what I wanted. I couldn't even think straight, you guys. I mean, this is probably about 14 years ago. And Keith, he doesn't ever get intimidated. It wouldn't matter who he sat down with, who it was. He's just, you know, he just fits right in. So I'm like, he's like, well, look around. And I was like, okay. You know, I couldn't even force myself to look around. I'm telling you guys, things have changed. Now I just walk in there like a boss. I really didn't choose my first bag. My very first Louis Vuitton bag was the Galleria. If I find pictures of these bags, I will insert them. So it was the Galleria hobo style bag, because back then I was really into hobos. Most of the bags I had were just very inexpensive bags. Keith has always been really good at picking out things for me, so he knew that I carried hobo style bags. So he looked up on the shelf. He said, can we see that one right there? Because I was frozen. I'm just like standing there looking around. I don't know what I want. I don't know, you know. So he took charge the way he does, and it was up on the top shelf. He got it down. I tried it on. He said, I like it. Do you like it? And I said, I like it. He said, we'll take it. That was my first experience in a Louis Vuitton store, and the Louis Vuitton Galleria was my very first Louis Vuitton handbag. Okay, so I did write down a few pros and cons about the Louis Vuitton Galleria, and things that I loved about it back then is what I grew to not so much love about it. Like, after I actually used that bag for 10 years. I got 10 solid years of use out of that bag. I sold it, but I can't remember if I sold it to Fashion File. I want to say I did, but nonetheless. So when I first got it, I loved it because it was soft and squishy. And now I tend to like more structured bags. So the soft and squishy now is kind of a con for me. And back then I did not use bag organizers or, you know, anything like that we put in our bags now to protect them. So if I had known that, because it did have that soft suede microfiber lining, which it did get dirty, not terribly dirty, because I do take care of my bags, but I never really thought to use anything inside of it, you know, until I was a YouTuber. I'm like, how come I never knew about this? But YouTube, it can be good and can be bad, because then you find out about things you really don't need to know. Okay, so anyway, and also the strap was really comfortable. It was about I would say about a 1.5 to 2-inch strap of vachetta, and it was adjustable. And the only thing is, the adjustment, it was perfect. But then I remember after I had used it several years, I wanted to change it and make it a little longer, and it had marks on it where the buckle was, and I just couldn't get that off. And back then I didn't know to spray my vachetta. I didn't know anything about that. Basically, it was just shapeless. I mean, when you took your things out of it, and then as the years went on, it became softer and softer and so comfortable. I mean, it was a beautiful bag, but I prefer bags that have some structure. Okay, and before I move on to the next bag, I just wanted to say that bag was a total hit, because like I said, I did use it for 10 years strong. All right, so the next bag that I got was everything that the Galleria was. The next bag was the opposite, and it was the Louis Vuitton Trevi bag. You guys, that bag was so freaking heavy. It was like luggage. And again, Keith chose that bag because I don't know. I guess I just knew I wanted Louis Vuitton, but I didn't know what I wanted, okay? So I would say it was probably 2 years later. That's about right. We went to London and we went to Harrods. Okay, and I told Keith, I said, oh my gosh, I just want to buy something in there, just to have something from Harrods. And I was thinking I might get a pair of earrings. And so we were in there and we came to the Louis Vuitton section and I was like, oh my gosh, how beautiful those bags are, you know. I didn't really have anything picked out. I never thought that he was going to choose one for me. He said, well, which one do you like? And I'm like, well, I don't know. I mean, like, I just couldn't choose. So if you guys are familiar with the Trevi bag, it's discontinued, but it's a beautiful bag. I still think that it's one of the most beautiful bags, and Autumn still has hers, okay? Mine was the large Trevi, and it's a lethal weapon. I'm telling you guys, you could hit somebody in the head with that bag and pretty much knock their block off. But Keith's like, oh, what about that bag? I said, oh my gosh, it's beautiful. And the beautiful pleats is what I loved about it. And it was the damier-ebene, so it was the different than the monogram. And I thought, oh yeah, so he got it down. And I guess I didn't really pay attention to how heavy it was. But wow, that bag was heavy. Honestly, I don't know of another bag. And not only that, it made sounds. The strap on the bag was heavy. The strap alone could be a lethal weapon. The hardware was huge. Everything about that bag was heavy, 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 okay? So it's so funny because I went from soft and squishy to super structured, and they couldn't have been more different, my first two bags. Okay, so I just got a text from Winnie. She's the one that came up with this idea. I kind of thought she did, but I wasn't sure. I didn't want to say that she did, and then Autumn came up with it, and then Autumn would have her feelings hurt. You know how touchy she can be. So, but anyway, yeah, kudos to Winnie. Kudos, girl. You did good. Because this is a fun one because it kind of takes you down memory lane. I'm getting to talk about, you know, the places that I went and where I got these bags. And the thing is, when I first started buying bags, mostly it was like if we were on holiday or vacation or a special occasion, but mostly if we went to a city somewhere new, I would get a new bag, and that's kind of how it all got started. And I would name my bags according to where I got them. Like the Galleria was my Hawaii bag, the Trevi was my London or Harrods bag, and my third bag that I ever got was the Neverfull GM and the monogram. So that was my Chicago bag. Okay, so yeah, a year later we went to Chicago and we went in the Louis Vuitton store, and I don't really remember how I was feeling at that time, but I wanted a Neverfull because I was seeing them everywhere. I did choose the GM size, which if I had known then what I know now, I would have chosen the MM size. But I used the heck out of that bag. I bet I used that bag probably about 10, 12 solid years. No less than that. I used it so much. It was a great purchase. And back then I owned a clothing shop, a boutique, and also a hair salon. And so it was my work bag. So it really fit my lifestyle. I would throw my lunch in there, change of shoes. I mean, everything in the kitchen sink. You guys know how great they are for something like that. So the Neverfull GM was my work bag, and it was well loved and well used. So the difference with this bag is I actually chose it. And I can remember Keith saying, that bag is way too big for you. It is huge. Okay, hang on. Grow up yet. Okay, so, you know, because I'm only 5'3", but I said, I love big bags, and I would cinch it in, and I mean, I just used the heck out of that bag. Of course, back then, I didn't know about organizers and base shapers and things like that, so the inside of it did get somewhat dirty because it was a very used bag, but I remember one time Keith and my mother-in-law and we went to Iceland. Why I decided that I needed self-tanner in Iceland. You guys, okay, here we are going down memory lane again. It's cold there. I'm wearing scarves, I'm wearing hats, I'm wearing sweaters, I'm wearing parkas, but I decided to bring my self-tanner. Well, I put it down in my Neverfull, okay, in the overhead bin on the plane, and when I got off the plane and got my bag down, it pretty much exploded in my bag. Self-tanner all in my bag. I freaked out. I remember I had to run to the restroom and take everything out. It was some kind of organic self-tanner that I had, and so I had to take everything out, take my handbag inside out, wash it out. It was a huge deal. And so even to this day, Keith makes fun of me for taking self-tanner to Iceland, and Keith's mom still. I mean, if I ever do anything, I never live it down, but yeah, I really used that bag and had some accidents with that bag, but it was a wonderful bag to have, especially as a work bag. Okay, so I would say the Neverfull that I purchased was a huge hit. Cost per wear, I got every dime of my money out of it, and regrettably, you guys, that is the one that I sold in the Facebook Ritzy Louis Vuitton page. I sold it, and I remember the night I had it all packaged up. I thought I should really back out, but I'm not really the type to back out, like, you know what I mean? But I had second thoughts, and it was the old style with the script writing. I have always, oh my gosh, it's so painful right now to think about it. I have since replaced it, but it's still not that bag, okay? The one that I have, I just bought off the website. I wish I had kept that bag. So I definitely have seller's remorse selling my first Neverfull, but that's when I fell in love with the Neverfull. I don't care what anybody says. Hands down, in my opinion, the Neverfull is the #1 most awesome tote ever made. I've never had a problem with the strap sticking into my shoulders. I even have the bean. I've never had that problem, okay? So, yeah, but anyway, it was a big mistake to sell that bag. I still wish I had it, even though I do like smaller bags these days, but that's the story. I sold my Neverfull, but it was definitely a huge hit. Like I said, Winnie had messaged me and I asked her, she said she was the one that came up with this tag, and I'm so glad that she did, because this has been so fun to think about it like this, because if it tells you guys anything, I feel like my message here is know what you want and know what type of bags that you will use, especially when spending a lot of money on these bags, because there does seem to be some kind of a theme going on here, especially when I go to my 4th bag that I ever purchased. And yes, I chose it myself. We were in Toronto. We went up for my cousin's big fat Greek wedding, and we went to Louis Vuitton, and I got the favorite bag, okay? So just think about that. The first bag was super light and flimsy. The second bag was super heavy and structured. The third bag was super huge, and the 4th bag was small. I mean, I'm all over the place, okay? But I did use that bag a lot, and I have recently gifted that bag to my daughter-in-law, and I still love that bag, but I really feel like it was a huge hit. And I remember, again, I chose that bag, and Keith's like, why so small? But I used the heck out of it, you guys. I used it. I really just gave it to her because she loved it. She loved it so much. So I never would have sold that bag, but I used it so much. I even bought an extra chain to go on it, a Felici chain. And I kept thinking, why did I have that extra Felici chain? But I think that was why. I think I purchased it, maybe off Fashion File, but it was a beautiful bag. I got my money cost per wear, and again, the 4th Louis Vuitton bag, the favorite, was a huge hit, and cost per wear, it was an amazing buy. So yeah, and then we are down to the #5 bag of my Louis Vuitton collection, and I'm excited to tell you guys that it was my Speedy 35, a classic Speedy 35 in Damier Ebene. Okay, going down memory lane here is really making me thirsty. I used the heck out of that bag. So I got it, by that time, I was getting a new luxury bag every year, okay? that's how it happens, you guys. It starts out slow, and then, you know, every year, then it's your birthday, then it's Christmas, then you're on vacation, and then the next thing you know, you're a crazy bag lady like all of us. It's a slippery slope. So I chose that bag. I used that bag. I loved that bag so much, you guys, and it was a hit. So it was my official rainy day bag. Now, back then, I didn't know about organizers. I didn't know about base shapers, but all of my bags were always in really good shape. And I did sell that bag last year to one of my beautiful, lovely friends and subscribers, Michelle. Hi, Michelle. She loves the bag. And you guys, it does my heart so good to know that my beloved Speedy 35 went to such a lovely, lovely lady, and she's enjoying it, and it was immaculate. I mean, you really can't mess those bags up, honestly. And I used it like crazy. I used it when I traveled. I used it, like I said, on rainy days. I used it when I had my shop. I put all kinds of stuff in it. It was a huge bag. But the thing is, I've never thought I was a Speedy girl, even though I've had several, because I'm not a large Speedy girl. And in the past few years, since I have been carrying somewhat smaller bags, which bigger bags I think are coming back in, I believe she approached me, and I thought, I'm not using it that much, and you know, a little bit of my heart went away with it. So I'm just so happy that somebody as lovely as her, Michelle, you are such a lovely person, got the bag, and it really does make me feel good. I got it in New York City in Soho, at the Soho Boutique. But one thing that I do know, I do really like the smaller Speedies. I'm not a bandolier girl at all. I honestly think that the Speedy with a strap is odd. That's just my opinion. I know I'm in the minority, and my opinion honestly doesn't matter. That's just what I think. I feel like it's odd. But anyway, I'm not gonna start roasting bags, you guys. That's Saturday, okay? I'm just gonna give you guys a little FYI. Saturday, Winnie and Autumn and I, we're gonna roast us some bags, you guys, and I'm not holding back. So, okay. But anyway, when Michelle bought it, it looked fabulous. It had no corner wear. It had no stains. It had nothing. No cracking, nothing. And I do feel like the bags back then were made better than they are now. I feel like the canvas was thicker. I feel like everything about it was better than the bags that they make now, honestly. A bean is indestructible, you guys. It's indestructible. I mean, I wouldn't say so much now what they make, but back in the day, the canvas bags that Louis Vuitton made were so strong and such high quality. Okay, you guys, so that's the end of my bag story. So I told you where I got them, what happened to them, and if they were a hit or a miss. So all of them were hits except that Trevi bag. I hope you enjoyed this video. Go over and watch Autumn Beckman and Winnie BLV and see what they have to say. Thank you, Winnie, for coming up with this collaboration, girl. You totally get the credit for this one, because at first I was like, I didn't come up with it. Who came up with it? Thank you so much for spending time, valuable time, to take at. Thank you so much. Okay. Wow. What am I trying to say? Okay, you guys, so that is the end of my first 5 Louis Vuitton bag story journey, whatever, you know. All of us YouTubers are always on some kind of a journey, right? I think that's hilarious. But anyway, you guys, be sure and tune in on Saturday, because we have a collaboration. It's a luxury roast. You guys, I am not holding back. I suspect that Autumn will be a little tactful. Winnie, not so much. And me either. I always say whatever I think, so it's all in fun. But anyway, you guys, thank you for spending time with me, taking valuable time out of your day to watch me and to support me. I love all you guys so much. Don't forget about the giveaway. Let's get to 5,000 subscribers ASAP so I can give that thing away. I hope you all have a fabulous day, and I will see you again on Saturday. Bye-bye. Peace.